Hello YouTubers. I just wanted to make a quick post about this, the UK disclosing their files, since everybody is talking. It's kind of seems coincidental that everybody's talking about the California and the gay marriage thing coming into effect, and that's been the big issue. And at the same time, the UK released their UFO files, and no one was really paying attention to that. Now, I saw the last end of this on Larry King on CNN, but I missed it. So later I said I was going to go back to YouTube because I know people post these types of issues on YouTube. So I wanted to touch on this debate. Now, everybody's wondering, why hasn't the U.S. Had a full disclosure of their UFO files? And they said it was because of panic. That's always been the excuse, even though a lot of um, UFOologists don't believe that it's because of panic. But I kind of disagree on that a little bit, because according to the New York State director of the Mutual UFO Network, he said that they get more UFO reports out of New York City than any other part of the state. One report was filed on May 15, 2007, describing a disc-shaped UFO hovering over the sky for 30 minutes before drifting behind a building. Then one in July of 2006, a woman was lying on Coney Island Beach and reported a 15 fast-moving green and white lights zigzagging across the sky for half an hour. Then on January of last year, there were 3 low-hovering objects that were captured live on the Fox News coverage of Times Square's New Year's Eve celebration, and it generated amazement, fear, and a degree of panic. Okay? That was during the New Year's Eve celebration last year. Okay? They said they saw on Broadway and 73rd Street in New York, small glowing and metallic spheres moving across the sky. Freaked out people, and they run into the subway. New Year's Eve last year, someone in Queens reported seeing something streaking through the clouds over the East River. And then a nursing student said she was sitting on her couch talking to her boyfriend, petting her cat, when the hair on the back of her neck stood up and the cat flipped out. She looked out her window in Flushing's Queens apartment and saw a triangular-shaped object dotted with red lights. And there's been many other stories. When I told my story about the UFO while I was driving home from work at the post office, some people actually said that if it was them, they would have veered off the road. And considering I was going over a bridge at the time, that would have been pretty dangerous to freak out. So I'm glad I didn't freak out. I was just like, wow, look at that. But, so it's not like, to me, it's not like we wouldn't panic. Many of us would still panic. There's no way around that. It's like it's an instinct at first sight. You would run. With so many horror alien movies, I don't think everyone would be like, hey, would you like a carbonated soda? Come on in. So, and people wonder why so many people on YouTube are so animate about telling us the way certain buildings are designed, the foundation of the land, the positions where star alignments, and other theories of how the ancient buildings and astrology come into play. So, considering all these other countries are letting out and disclosing their files, from France did theirs 2006, I think 2006, 2005. I know France did theirs recently, it wasn't that long ago. Now the UK. So why not us? Some people have a theory of the Blue Beam project's not done, or our alien allies. Alien allies are trying to make sure that doesn't happen. That we're not bamboozled, in a sense, with the Blue Beam project. Then we got theories of Bush is going to use that for martial law, claiming as we're being invaded, all that good stuff. And then you have the classic one, that aliens are demons. They're all bad. that's been going on forever. Some reason people think that they can only be one or the other. We can have a mix of both. There actually can be all good and all bad. It has, you know, I believe there's a mixture of both. That they can't be all good and all bad. Sorry. And conspiracy theorists and UFOologists have said there's so many species, we cannot group them all as good or bad, even within each individual species. So we don't know. And then the Galactic Federation of Worlds is a large federation of many different planets and galaxies working together in harmony across mostly our Milky Way. And it's funny because Star Trek called theirs the Galactic Federation of Planets. So we only changed one word. We was theirs called, the real thing is called worlds, and then Star Trek just said, oh, it's planets, which is the same thing. It's easy to hide the truth right in front of us, right? And Stargate is the same story. We use Stargates to go from one dimension to another and back again. But what's interesting is this 2008 election. Now, I'm not sure if many people remember the Democratic debate when Obama was asked about UFOs. And I remember how he kind of like sidetracked the question about UFOs. He said, we have to worry about life on Earth first. And Hillary was laughing, everybody in the audience was laughing. It was just a sad sight to see for me. It was really a serious question, and everyone was joking about it. But people think we are ready to talk about it. But as soon as someone bring it up in a presidential debate, everyone started busting up laughing. Okay? Obama said, I don't know. Well, let's talk about the health care. Let's talk about our children now. Let's blah, blah, blah. When you have people on here that are talking about our children, and many of them are worried about children getting abducted and disappearing, with witness accounts of UFO abductions of these children in the process. But Obama sidetracked the question, and America's wondering why there's no full disclosure in the United States. So until we get our act together, and until it's considered a serious question instead of getting laughed at in the presidential debate, then we're not ready to have full disclosure. I don't care who the other countries are, because most of the people are talking about we're going to try to make Obama win, and when he asks the question, he completely sidesteps the whole thing because he doesn't want to risk getting people to think that, well, if he believes in UFOs, then I'm not going to vote for him because anyone that believes in UFOs are possessed by the devil or insane or crazy. Because all of us that have seen the stuff or believe in it are delusional and nuts. And just like he distances himself from Reverend Wright, of course he's going to distance himself from the UFO. So I just want interesting discussion to see if anyone would like to give their 2 cents about how this presidential election for 2008 will come about with UFOs. Anybody up there willing to talk about this that won't be all about demons for once? Okay? Thanks.